Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another live stream here on the Cirqueworks Art Lab YouTube channel. And if you aren't familiar with what kind of live stream this is, basically we're diving into nostalgia. We're going to do that again today. If you watched my most recent video that I posted, I did sort of an homage to, or a recreation. Basically what I'm doing on my channel, if you're new, is I'm taking vintage stuff from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and I'm kind of overhauling it, giving it a new spin and everything. So I went back to a project that most people don't remember. It's a Denny's kids menu. I'm going to show this off here. Right here, Denny's kids menu. Back from like the 70s, 70s and 80s is when those were popular. And it's a mask that you pop out, and I just remember those fondly. A lot of other people don't remember them, but I wanted to kind of, like I said, give it a quote unquote facelift and create my own mask menus and everything. So that's what I did. If you haven't checked out that video, definitely check it out. But we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about just a bunch of memories growing up, restaurant kind of kid promotions and kids menus. I have with me right here, I've got a whole stack of kids menus that I've collected over the years, and we're going to dive into some of these and see if you guys remember any of these things. And I just want to see who's in the chat right now. We've got Edie Sedgwick, we've got Jim Lujan, Louis hopefully I can pronounce the name, Bautista, I think, or maybe that's wrong, sorry. I am so bad with names, but I am good with nostalgia. So just hang on and we'll get into some of this. So again, thank you everyone for, wait, hold on a second.
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike.
We're gonna dive into some of these memories. I want you guys to know, let me know how many of these you guys remember. So let's start off. Like I said, first of all, I want to kick it off right here. And the other thing I wanted to mention is I have a newsletter. If you're not on my newsletter, considering checking it out, if you go to my website at cirqueworks.com, if you join the newsletter, you get the free Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's got a bunch of tools for making comics, digital tools, and things like that. But on the newsletter, every time I post a video, I usually put out a newsletter and I talk about something having to do with whatever that project is. And the last one I did, I talked about these kid promotions from fast food joints and from casual dining restaurants aimed at kids to bring kids in and things like that. And I kind of ranked them and kind of went down the list. So I'm going to start by doing that. I'm going to go through some of the things that I talked about. I'm going to elaborate a little bit on it and share some of my own memories. And hopefully you guys in the chat are going to share some of your memories as well. So let's first thing, like I said, right here, this is the Denny's children's menu that I was talking about. This is one that I remember as a kid. This is the night, and then if you watch my video, the one I really wanted was the robot. And as you saw earlier here, like here, I've got the robot mask right here. So hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of open some of these up, and I'm gonna share for any of you who didn't see the video or wants me to go a little deeper into that. That's what I'm gonna do right now. So let me clear some of this off. We will definitely get back to this. Some of you guys are kind of eyeing this Pokemon and all this, all these the Burger King Kids Club menus I've got here, as well as a bunch of other ones. We will definitely get back to those, but I want to share with you first. We're going to take this out, and we're going to kind of, so this I got off of eBay, and this is one of the masks that I really wanted when I was a kid. And of course I haven't popped it out yet. I don't think I ever will, because it's just so cool to have this. But as you can see, there's a number of different characters, and hopefully it won't just pop up on its own, because I've been handling it quite a bit, just analyzing and everything. But you can kind of see, the knight, the pirate, the princess, and the robot. And there were some other ones. There was a wolf man. They called him the Burger Wolf. And if you want to check, I definitely would advise you, or I implore you, I guess, to check out that video. If you haven't seen that video, go on my channel, the one where I reverse engineer these kids menus, because I I did the works, this whole thing in the back. I actually cooked all of the food, and I've got shots and everything of me going through that whole process, photographed it all, did all the illustration for the back, came up with all the names and all that. So it's really involved, but and it's one of my longer videos. I think it's like a 20-minute video. I'm not counting the live streams. Those tend to go a little long because we're having fun here. So we'll just keep going. But the thing is, so I redesigned that whole thing, and like a 20-minute video, I go through that whole process. But even with that long of a video, I kind of go through it kind of quickly. So I want to kind of show off some of the masks that I made now before we get into some of this other stuff and some of these other memories. So this is the original. Let me switch over to cameras here. This is the original vintage Denny's 1977, I believe these came out around. Yeah, there's a copyright 1977, same year as Star Wars. So everyone was into robots and stuff. And then, so let me see. I'm trying to toggle a few different things. I also want to check out some of the questions and stuff in the chat. So here are some of the ones that I created, and I wanted to do sort of monster theme. And one thing that I found out, and just once you post these, you get people in comments and they leave questions and things like that, or comments rather. But the cool thing is, one thing I wasn't aware of is that King Vitamin Cereal, also had masks on the back of their menu. So I went and looked at some of those up because I remember the Denny's ones, and I know I've seen other ones. I even did this one here. This was a promotion I did for my comic book Young and the Dead. So I've always been into these. I mean, you can see what an inspiration these Denny's masks were to me. But the other thing I noticed that the Munster cereals also did, Count Chocula and Frankenberry and Boo Berry and all that stuff. They also had some masks that you could pop out and stuff. So I wasn't too far off the mark making these monster masks, but I don't think anyone's really done anything quite the way I did. So I wanted to kind of capture the idea of, with burgers, how you can kind of, you just build a burger type of deal. So I thought, Frankenstein's this creature that was cobbled together from all these different parts and things. So why not do something similar with the burger? So I just kind of had the burger sewn to his head. So that's Frankenburger there. And then I think that's what I called him. I know there's yeah. So, and then I did my mummy version, which is, he's kind of wrapped in bacon and everything. And it comes with all the little straps and everything. So the Yummy, I would have called him the Yummy Mummy, but there is a monster cereal called that. So he's just the Yummy, and it's got all these little pieces so you can cut them out and as you can see, popped out from the back. And then Creature from the Black Lagoon, if you guys aren't aware, I've got this cup that I got from a friend of mine. But I always loved Creature from the Black Lagoon. So this was sort of inspired by Creature from the Black Lagoon. He's basically like the yolk. So let me show you the backs here. So you can see sort of the backs. I've got all the different characters here, just as if they were appearing from on the original Denny's menu. Created all that stuff. So just had a lot of fun creating this menu and these characters and everything. And then of course we've got this is our sort of vampire. She's sort of a cross between a vampire and like the Bride of Frankenstein with her soft swirl. So anyways, you can see that's kind of what I came up with the last video. But yeah, so those masks way back from when I was a little kid, back in the 70s, those just sparked my imagination to create. Here we go. Yeah. So let me get some of this stuff here. Go back here. There we go. Just to create cool projects. So that's what I've been doing. And again, I'm going to dive into some of this stuff here, but I want to go through and I want to share some other memories. And I want to know how many of you guys might remember some of these. We're going to go through some memories of just again, stuff I remember growing up. Let's see, hold on. Going out to eat and things like that, and some of the promotions and things they used to bring kids in. So this one This one is, and you can barely kind of see it. This is about the only image I could find. But if you look, there's a bunch of kids, and there's this barrel, and they're picking through prizes. This was a promotion that McDonald's did. It was called Kids Day. So it was like, there's Father's Day. I think the whole thing was there's a Father's Day and there's a Mother's Day. There's no Kids Day. So they created a Kids Day as a promotion to bring kids into the store. So there's your, you've got your kind of digging through the little thing. And, they would have, I don't know if they had free shakes or what it was, but there was definitely just a big, celebration to bring kids in. And I remember one of the prizes that I think I pulled out of that was like this. They had these straws, and they're the McDonald Land characters, Ronald McDonald and Grimace and the Big Mac and all that kind of stuff. But it was just like a plastic straw, but in the middle of it had the character's face. So and it was transparent. So you see the liquid go up and it fill that. But that's the prize that I remember, I think, getting from the McDonald kids thing. So I don't know how many of you guys, if any of you guys, remember some of that stuff. Let's see. The other thing, so here's another one that I wanted to pull up right here. So this one here is the Book It program from Pizza Hut. Now I remember, I this one I vaguely remember. I remember them promoting it at schools and things like that. So you go to school, but it was basically a program to get people to get kids to get interested in reading books and everything like that. And so that was, and I struggle with reading and stuff all through school and everything, and comprehension and things like that. So I don't know how well it worked on me. I think comics was my biggest introduction into reading and everything like that. But I definitely have a lot of memories of Burger King. Back in the days, if you remember, you'd go to I'm getting ahead of myself. Pizza Hut. So Pizza Hut, back in the days, they had the big red roof. You can kind of still see that in their current logo. There's a weird thing. It looks like a hat. A lot of people think it's a hat. That's the roof that was on all the Pizza Huts had this big red roof. I'm sure there's still some of them out there that might still have that. But it was iconic. And you go there, and back then it was more of a kind of sit down place. It wasn't like takeout or anything like that. But you sit down, and they get the red plastic cups and all that. I remember that. And then, but another restaurant that most people don't remember, because this probably wasn't a chain or anything. It was called, some of you guys might know a chain, Village Inn, and it's like a breakfast place, but there was a Village Inn pizza that we used to go to. And the thing that I remember about this place is that they had like all the video games and stuff, of course, arcade games. And then they had like riding, the riding toys that you get on, you put the quarter in and you ride, but it was all free. It was a buffet. You go there, you get a pizza buffet, all that, get as much pizza as you want. And then, they've got these things, but the thing I remember about this place is that they had a projector, and they would project all these old, like the old Batman serials. I'm talking about the black and white stuff, even before the Adam West Batman and stuff, and just Flash Gordon and all that stuff. And they would project this stuff on there. Of course, my dad was really into that, because that's stuff that he remembers when he was a kid. But it was just kind of a cool family place. So that's something that I remember. And again, let me know in the chat kind of some of the memories you have. But as I mentioned, comic books, I got into comic books at an early age, and I believe, and this is a very popular children's promotion, or promotion to get kids in the door. But if you guys remember Bob's Big Boy, I think there may be one still left. I know there's one still left. I thought they shut them all down. My brother just went to California, and on the way he stopped at one of the last Bob's Big Boy. But it's a burger chain, a kind of a casual dining burger chain, and most people know, because even if you've seen like Austin Powers, the Dr. Evil's escape pod was a big boy and everything. So a lot of people may recognize, even if they haven't been to one, may recognize the character because it's iconic. But you would go there, and they had comic books. These comic books that they would give out, and it's the Adventures of Big Boy and everything. And these started way back in probably the 50s. These were around. Let me see if I can pull up the day. Yeah, 1956 is when I think when Bob's Big Boy premiered, and with the comics and everything like that. So I definitely, my dad still has a few up in his house. He's got a bunch of Big Boy memorabilia. He's got a bunch of stuff that he collected from the 50s and stuff. And he's got a few of the comic books like framed and everything. But they were just really cool, just fun adventures and everything like that you would pick up. Let me go back to the chat real quick. Let me see. Okay, let's pull up some shots. So I rarely went to McDonald's because my family's broke, but when my friend would invite me, it was awesome. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of stuff like that we, I wasn't always broke, but there were times where we were. My dad had a business and it struggled and stuff. So there were times where, yeah, we could go out and do all that stuff. And then there were other times where, nope, we can't do that anymore. So, and that probably led me into that kind of life as an artist where, oh yeah, it's really, I'm on the gravy train now, but now we got to kind of cut back and stuff. So that's just, yeah, that's kind of my story. Oh yes. So we got, yes, Lon John Silver's had the paper hats. Yes. I remember those, the paper hats. And I remember Lon John Silver, they may still have it, but the bell you would ring if you got good service and everything. I remember that. And Shoney's, which we didn't have any Shoney's here. I think we may have had some. I'm from Arizona, but I think we may have had some Shoney's, but we never went to them. But, they had comics of two kids flying around in a giant albatross. Oh, I got that. I have to look up. I don't have any of those, but that sounds so cool. Yeah, some of these, and the other cool thing is hopefully we get introduced to some of these things we haven't really seen before. Okay, this is something I am going to dive into because I'm going to nerd out for you guys a little bit. All right, so another promotion here is, let me turn off some of these comments here. All right, so this is a little, I think this one here premiered in the 90s. So this is back when my kids, I would take my kids to the Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. But this is something that it was kind of a mystery that I was trying to unravel for the longest time, and I kind of figured it out eventually. So but first I should talk about the promotion. All right, so this is the ticket blaster, and then so basically go in here, they shoot a bunch of tickets, and I guess whatever you can collect, you get to keep. And I don't remember that, even with my kids, I don't remember them doing this. So, but it's, I kind of was researching different promotions, and this was a big one. This was pretty successful, and I think there's still, if Chuck E. Cheese is around, I think there's still some Chuck E. Cheese around. I think they're still doing this. So the thing that for a time being, like 5 years, I lived in San Jose, California, and there was this toy store that I would go to, and I thought it was called like the Magic Kingdom or something like that. And I was telling my mom about this, and she didn't remember it. And I said, no, I remember this. We used to go to this giant toy store. It's a 2-story toy store. And I used to get these guys, these Mego figures when I was a kid. Again, back in the 70s. These are reproductions. These aren't the original. But, these are some of the ones that I had as a kid, Batman. I never had Superman. I got him now. But I never had Superman. I had Shazam. I had Batman. I had Robin. I had Batgirl. And I think and Aquaman. And then I had the Batmobile, but I remember going there and getting the Batmobile, and it was like the coolest thing in the world. But this giant 2-story toy store in San Jose, California, and I remember it had these 3 giant glass, I don't know what you call them, like pillars. It looked like a castle, and these giant glass pillars, and each one of these pillars were were these tin soldiers, just to kind of represent toys. And I remember this thing, and I asked my mom, she didn't remember. And then I was watching this documentary this is where it comes back to Chuck E. Cheese. I'm watching this documentary on Chuck E. Cheese, and they showed the first Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm going to pull it up here. In the documentary, they showed those 3 pillars things that you see there. I immediately recognized this, and it said it was in San Jose, California. So I'm like, this has to be the toy store. And I remember also going to this Chuck E. Cheese, the very first Chuck E. Cheese, because it was, I think it opened when we were living there, or when we went back, or something like that. And I remember it. I remember the animatronics. I remember all that stuff, and I remember that Chuck E. Cheese, but I never made the connection that this must have been the toy store that I used to go to. And just today, as I was looking for a decent picture of this, I found this. Well, no, first let me show you. So this is the interior. So if you can see, that's the Chuck E. Cheese, but if you can imagine that whole thing filled up with toys, and I'm going to show you where you can go to kind of see some of this stuff. But this giant 2-story toy store you used to go to, it was massive. I mean, you saw that building, that was it. But this is it right here. So I found this picture. This was on the Plaid Stallions website. You could see those 3 tin soldiers, and that just cemented it that was the actual thing. It wasn't called Magic Kingdom, it was called Magic Village. So I mean, that is a mystery that's been in my head since I can't remember, you know. So that I have to share with my mom. I'll share that picture and maybe she will remember that. But I don't know. What about you guys? Do you have any memories like that you've been trying to unravel and then you just sort of just discovered and all the pieces fit into place and everything like that? I mean, I was just so happy when I saw that. But if you do go to Plaid Stallions, if you just search either first Chuck E. Cheese and then find this picture, find the Plaid Stallions article, they've got a bunch of pictures from this toy store. They're kind of grainy. Some of them are probably from catalogs or something like that. Some of them are black and white, but they've got all these pictures of this toy store. And I just kind of discovered this before I came online, but I'm going to go back there and check out some of that stuff. So there is another promotion. So yeah, I mean, I'm just like, okay, let's see, we've got Dee Dee in the chat. We got Madrin. Let's see. Am I selling? Okay, so Dee Dee wants to know, am I selling the mask you made digitally? I on my Patreon, there is, so let's see. So the way I do it usually is when I create a project on my channel, I will have a template, and the template, like, it's just a blank template, so you can kind of draw your own mask and stuff. But Dee Dee, just message me. You've been more than generous, so I will get you the digital files. But for anyone else that's interested, so the newsletter is free. You join the newsletter, and with that newsletter, you will get like the basic templates. But then for my Patreon, I think one tier you got the one mask, and then the other tier you got all of the masks, completed masks that you can print out and everything. So but anyway, so that's on my Patreon. So I do have those. It's a little too involved to actually print them up and sell the physical copies, and you know, I don't know, maybe I don't know if it would make sense to also add those to my store as digital downloads. It might. I might, or at some point I might put together all of the different like projects into like a pack, kind of like my Comic Maker starter kit, and then I might actually sell that with all the different templates and things like that. I haven't really decided yet, but yeah, just Dee Dee, let me know. You've given me plenty of super chats and things like that, so I will be happy to send you some of those digital masks. But let me get back here. Let me turn some of these off here. So again, I'm gonna go back. Let's see. So the next promotion I want to talk about, of course, the big one. Everyone remembers this, the Happy Meal. So I don't know. I mean, Happy Meal has been around forever. So no matter, I know we've got people different ages and stuff in the chat. We got younger people, we got older people, we got, you know, just all different ages. And at least like with me, like if you're old enough where you didn't have Happy Meals as a kid, you possibly had kids, and everyone knows Happy Meals is basically what I'm getting to. So I remember when Happy Meals first premiered, I think it was what was it, 1979 when they first came out. And the thing, and I remember this design, you know, with the circus thing, but there was another one I remember. It had different activities, and back then the toys were really basic. They were like the little rubber erasers and things like that, or the little plastic vinyl hand puppet that were really chintzy. But they had those kind of toys before they started doing the cross promotion with all the big you know, toy companies and things like that, or movie promotions and things like that. So anyway, so let me switch. No, I'll do this. Okay. So anyway, the thing that I remember, this is a weird memory. You guys ever have these weird memories and you don't know why they stick in your head, because it's, in a lot of ways, it's sort of inconsequential. Like, why would this have such an impact on me? But I remember there was an illustration on one of the boxes of the early Happy Meals, and it was an illustration of a kid, and it was just showing, you know, it was all kinds of activities that you would cut out and stuff, kind of like the paper masks that I did. But it had like a pair of scissors, and you know how scissors kind of go like this. It was a pair of scissors, but it was like this, and the two holes, he was looking through them like an eyeglass, like it was a scissors in the shape of an eyeglass. And for whatever reason, I thought that was so clever, and that always stuck in my head. So that was one of my memories. And of course, there was tons and tons of cool. We could do, maybe at some point, I'm sure we'll reverse engineer and make our own Happy Meal box. It's something I've got on my list of things to do. So I don't want to get too much into it then, but let me know your guys, some of your memories of the Happy Meal toys and things. Let's see. And then Chris Calgue is in the chat. Recently saw that Olive Garden has mascots. Not bad, but not quite as charming as the 80s characters. Yeah, so I don't know if I may have some Olive Garden. I don't know we're going to find out. We're going to go through some of these menus and we're going to find out what all is in here. The big one right now though that I want to talk about, so I'm going to pull it up right here because I have a lot to show you as far as this is concerned, is let's see, pull this up right here, the Burger King Kids Meals. So this Burger King Kids Meals premiered, I think, in 1989. So I was in high school at that time, just about to graduate. I graduated in 90. So, but when I had kids, they were still running this promotion. So that was one thing, we would go to Burger King. They had a play place in the city that I live in. When I first moved here, there was nothing here there, and we didn't have. So I think one of the first fast food restaurants was Burger King, and they had the play place. So I would take my kids there, and all the different kids meal stuff. So that's when I started. And at that time I was doing graphic design and everything. And I was really focusing on designing characters and things like that, and games, and wanting to do children's menus. And I did a few of those, but I was always like, if I went and got a kids menu for my kids, I would also pick up one for me to save, because they're just chock full of different ideas and things like that. I mean, look at all the mazes and word searches and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely remember my kids were huge into Pokemon. So this was a big one for them. And they had, I think it may have been McDonald's. I forget which one. They had the Pokeballs, and they had the characters in it. And they ended up recalling them because there was like a choking hazard. And my kids, they would not, they're older, so I wasn't too worried about them choking on them. But there was like no way we were gonna return those things for a French fry or whatever it was. They wanted those Pokeballs, so we probably still have some somewhere. But those were kind of cool, and I definitely remember that. So we're going to dive into some of these children's menus that I had. So like I said, Burger King Kids Club, I was kind of one of the big ones. And let's just kind of see what we've got. So we've got the Pokemon one. And you can see here, we've got, I guess you get to name the different Pokemons. There's I'm wondering was it Burger? Okay, these are the cards. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so this was the Burger King promotion. That was the thing they recalled right there, these little Pokeballs, and they had the little plush Pokemon in it, or they had, I remember they also had like the Nintendo, it was like a Nintendo Game Boy that had these little cassettes. They didn't really do anything, but they may have had a picture on them or something like that. But a lot of these memories, and I've got a box somewhere that I saved a lot of those toys. Oh, and then I remember these too, these kind of gold cards. I'm sure we still have some of those somewhere. So that's kind of cool. So of course, and they just did all kinds of different promotions. This one, of course, is the Toy Story promotion. But again, I would collect these because, oh, look at this. Is that a flip book? Yeah, so there's a flip book. This will just collecting these just gives you, anytime I had a project where I had to create, some games or whatever, because I've done, here's, a lot of this came in handy, because this is a coloring book I did for AAA, a couple of these. I did a series of these. And you can see, I just took some ideas from some of these things. Let me pull that. I just realized that Burger King thing is still up there, taking up a lot of space here. All right, let me get back to this. Hold on a second. All right. So I would get inspiration for doing stuff like this, mazes, and what's wrong with these, what's the difference in between these two pictures and things like that. So this was just all like inspiration. It kind of felt weird. Sometimes you go in and, can I get an extra kids meal for me? An extra kids menu for me. But that's the reason why I have all these. Oh, and there's another flip book there with Buzz. That's cool. And then so they had hand puppets. These ones, I was going to say, I don't think those would fit in a Happy Meal or kids meal, but I guess those are only $1.99. That's not bad for that. That was back in the 90s, I assume. Oliver and Company. That's kind of a cool layout. I like that. this is kind of a watercolor look, and you can kind of see. And here we get our shot of like the kids club members themselves. They had kind of a diverse group of different kids, and they all had their own personalities and stuff. You can see right here. But this promotion was pretty successful because it went on for a while. It started with just them, and then of course they started incorporating, movie tie-ins and things like that. But you get some more plushies, how to draw a cat here. And then this is the Lion King one. And here we see a little more of the kids club members and things like that. And then Sage Rodriguez, hold on. Let's see. Says there's also Yeah, my kids were big into Digimon too, even though it's not as popular as Pokemon. However, it's making a resurgence. Yeah, my kids love Digimon. Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with Digimon. This is cool. Look at this. So they've got these little, looks like, I think they're finger puppets that pop out of a box. Okay, but look at the scenes here. I mean, that's so cool. It's like seen straight from like the like background scenes from the Disney animated films. That's kind of cool. And that's cool, like a roundup game. But yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Now what's this one? This one looks like, so this one looks like it's more just centered around the actual kids club, because I don't think this is a movie tie-in, or maybe this might have been a toy or something. Bug Riders. So I don't know what Bug Riders are, but here we get another one with a scene, just some fun games. But I would have loved to work on some of this stuff. So they got the kids club kids, and then they're writing. This reminds me of Sectars. If you guys remember Sectars, it was a toy line from the 80s where they had these insect characters, like humanoid insects, and they would ride these bugs. But they were like puppets, and you would work like a spider. And you'd work, and so you put the character on the thing, and so you'd kind of be puppeteering the actual toy, which was really cool. Oh, and of course SpongeBob. SpongeBob was I remember when SpongeBob first came out, and when I I didn't really sit down and watch it, but it came on. I'm like, this is ridiculous. What is this? This is so stupid. And then I actually sat down and watched it. I'm like, this is genius. I love SpongeBob. So anyway. So, and then this looks like a jellyfish you cut out. So a lot of these cutout things, again, that's stuff like that is what really inspired me to do like those Denny's children's menu mask and everything. But that's kind of cool. I remember these things where they kind of flip down these ladders and stuff like that. Just some fun toy ideas. Here we got a Hanna-Barbera tie-in. We got like a race. That's kind of cool. Let's see, we got some race car drivers, and then a happy birthday George Washington. So this must have came out around probably February, I'm guessing. Does it say Washington's birthday? Oh, and Magilla Gorilla, he was a favorite of mine. Oh, my super. Oh, you know what? I wonder, are super chats not show? I'm sorry. Dee Dee says my super chats aren't showing up. Sorry. I wonder if I have to I might have to actually go to, well, first let me call you out for the super chat here.
Super chat.
All right, give me a second, Dee Dee. I'm going to go over to YouTube and see if they're showing up on YouTube. I may get some feedback here. Hold on. Oh, that's weird. I wonder what happened. Huh. Yeah, I'm not seeing any super chats. Huh. Okay, I will have to look into that. I don't know why that is. Well, that kind of sucks. Anyway, well, enjoy the show. I do appreciate you trying to do a super chat. I don't know why that didn't work out. I'm gonna have to look into that. But anyway, but again, thanks, Dee Dee. I appreciate that all the same. This is kind of a cool thing. So these are like glow forward. I always love glow in the dark. Little spoiler alert: the next video I put out is going to have to do with the glow in the dark, something glow in the dark. So, but I love glow in the dark stuff. So these are kind of cool, and they kind of like the snap-on outfits. I mean, that's kind of cool. And more games. This one we already saw. So sometimes I get doubles. Jackie Chan Adventures. So yeah, I remember this cartoon. And then, oh, look at like an origami thing. You can make an origami dragon. That's pretty cool. And look at all, man, that's a lot of different toys that you have to, they definitely want you to keep coming back for those. That was the thing. I remember when these promotions first started out, like with the Happy Meals and things like that. I remember you have to go, like 1 week they'd have one and another week they'd have another, but then eventually I thought they just give you whatever they give you and you just have to keep coming back, and like a kind of like a blind box, and if you get lucky you get the one you want. You couldn't like plan it out. I think it was probably two, because certain ones would sell out, and I remember my dad getting irate because he was trying to collect these rescue Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers, and the one he was trying to get for us. And he liked it too because he likes all the Disney's, old Scrooge McDuck and stuff like that. So he wanted the Monterey Jack, and and they were supposed to have Monterey Jack that week. And we went through the drive-through. He ordered it, and I guess they might have said that, or maybe they gave it to him and it was some other toy. It was something, maybe Chip or Dale or something. And then and then my dad, he got so pissed. He'd like, that's the only reason I came to this place. And I think he drove off. My dad was kind of nuts that way over a Monterey Jack. So we always made fun of him for that. But he would embarrass us. Oh, and then these things, I remember these. So I actually still have somewhere I have these still, these Pocahontas cups. And I think there were other ones. It wasn't just Pocahontas. They had other Disney cups. And look at these. This is back in the day. You see the cassette tape, read along cassette tapes. I remember when the read along cassette tape or read along records. You'll know it is time to turn the page when you hear R2D2 beep like this. Oh, wait. So that's what it says for Super Chat. Wait. So that's what? Where does it? I don't know what this means. So that's what it says for Super Chats. Say cheese? Is that what it's saying? Okay, Edie had to leave. Have a good one, Edie. Thanks for checking in. All right, so let's kind of go through some of this. We got another one. Here's a Superman one. We're blowing our way through. We're going to get to some different stuff. We're looking at, so this is Superman Adventures. This is sort of the follow-up to the Batman, the animated series, Superman Adventure series. And again, just lots of cool. Oh, wow, she's got a number of arms. I wonder what that's all about. I guess they're just trying to show that teachers are super busy and they need more arms. I remember my mom always saying, I'm not an octopus. I can only do one thing at a time, or two things at a time or something. All right, so here we go. We're going to dive into some different stuff. So let's see. We'll go back to, we talked a little bit about Denny's. Here, this was a local promotion that they were doing, that Denny's was doing, just a regional promotion. And I really like this design, and I kind of ripped it off in some ways because I was doing a promotion. Back in the day, I created a children's show called The Adventures of Alex the Ape, and we kind of did a cross promotion regionally with the Denny's, with a few Denny's restaurants. So I kind of recreated it. This is back, I did this all, I think, in watercolor. And I'm not, looking back, I'm not really happy with the way that turned out, but I don't know. That was one of my first, professional children's menus that I did back in the day. This is before, I even had a computer to design on, or learn how to design on the computer. So it was all hand done. We had to take it to a place to have them photograph everything, and still have the Star Wars read along. Yeah, the funny thing is I don't have any of those, but you can find, if you just want to listen to those, a lot of them are on YouTube right now. You can listen to them and they'll show the pictures and everything. I remember, tell me if you remember the planet. Do you have the Planet of the Hoojibs? You remember that one? That's one I remember. Or the Droid World. Those are a couple of them that I had. This is a Disney, I think this is a Disney Adventure magazine. Yeah. So that kind of snuck its way into there, but there's a lot of, I must have kept this because there's a lot of activities and stuff in here. And then I've got I would even say this was this is oatmeal. You can see some of the things. This is like dinosaur oatmeal. They have these eggs, and when you add the hot water, the eggs would dissolve and you get the dinosaurs. But I think I saved this because of the maze here. I thought that was kind of cool. All right, so here we go. Here is a Taco Bell bag. So this is, at first I thought that was Hercules, but it's not Hercules. It's just a regular, caveman, or that might be Hercules, but not the Disney Hercules. But here we go. There's a bag from kids manual for that. Now, which one is this? Bennigan's. I don't know how many of you guys remember Ben. I used to love this. They had Monte Cristos there, and those are like my favorite sandwiches. Which is, if you don't know what Monte Cristo is, it is like a turkey sandwich, but it's like dipped in like pancake batter, and then fried, and then you dip that in, and it's got the turkey sandwich with jelly, fried in pancake batter, and then you dip that in like maple syrup or something. It's insane. but that's my memory of Bennigan's. So Bennigan's is sort of like a sort of bar and grill type place, but they also cater to kids with their, that's kind of a cool illustration. I like the style of that one. There's the cover. So I remember this movie, Dinosaurs. Speaking of, my kids were huge into dinosaurs. Let's see. So this is another Denny. Denny's really did a lot of cool children's menus. This is another kind of one they did, was a booklet with some games and stuff. But I remember they also had a big space theme thing they did. And I remember they had these cups that were shaped like rocket ships. So they did a lot of cool stuff. And I think I got another Disney's example in here. Okay, so here's a McDonald's promotion. This probably came out around Earth Day, Conservation International. But they just had these books here. I love these illustrations of Ronald McDonald and everything. Believe it or not, if you're younger, there was a time when clowns weren't always creepy. Now it's just like that you can't have a clown that's not creepy. I mean, it's like if you search clowns on the internet, I mean, they didn't have the internet back then, but if they did, if they had where am I at here? Let's see. So there was a time, before the internet, if they had the internet, where if you search for clowns, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get that many scary, creepy clowns. But now that's all you're going to see if you Google clowns on the internet. All right, so let's see what we got here. And you know what? I'm going to take an opportunity to switch out my battery. So I'm going to try to multitask here. I've got another camera, this overhead camera. The battery doesn't last that long, so if you bear with me, I'm going to just hold on a second. At some point, I will get this this whole live streaming thing down to a science here. All right, there we go. Second. All right, okay. Let's see. So we'll kind of flip through. Oh, and look at this. So there's an activity here, another pop-out thing. There used to be a lot of these pop-out toys and things like that. Even those Denny's menus that I made, after they stopped doing the mask, they would make other little things that you would pop out, and like little paper toys and things like that. Let's see. Here's another one. Let's see, another rainforest thing. And my kids also, they were big into animals and rainforests and stuff like that. Actually, I painted, even though my son has grown up, he still has the mural that I painted that was like a jungle in his room. He hasn't said he wanted to paint over it yet. So, and then we got some kind of a butterfly pop out thing. So there we go, we've got that. All right. Coco's. Do you guys have Coco's where you're at? Let's see. Chris says Monte Cristo is the reverse diet food. Yeah, most definitely. All right, so Coco's is another sort of like a Denny's. I don't know how, and this looks like one my kids actually did color, but I love this thing. And I think this inspired. There was a game. I remember when I was developing like Facebook games. That was another thing that's not around anymore. People used to go on Facebook to play games and within Facebook. But there was a thing that was called Soda Pop something, and you had to build these little tubes, and you flip them around, and then because it would pour soda, and if you didn't flip the tubes the right way, the soda would pour out and everything. But that was kind of a fun game. But I may have been inspired by some of that. Something like that. I just get the weirdest inspiration. Okay, TGI Fridays. Here's a TGI Fridays. Howie and Friends in Outer Blast. So there we go. That's kind of I like the look of that. That's cool. So a lot of, some places they do tie-ins with movies and toys and things like that. Other ones they would just create their own line of character, kind of like the Burger King Kids Club. But I think Burger King Kids Club kind of did both. So there's that one. Okay, Village Inn, another sort of Denny's type restaurant. So they've got Bucky, looks like, not to be confused with the Bucky's big giant convenience store. I just went to one of those on a way through Texas to Louisiana. That was the first time I ever went to a Bucky's, which is an experience if you've never done that. So anyway, let's see. Yeah, and then of course they've got the funny face, and that was something that I replicated. Let me see if I can find mine. Denny's had their version. Like, here's mine. It's a little, make the egg and the eyebrows out of the bacon and the bow tie, and then the Denny's one. Theirs is a little different. So when I do these projects, I don't duplicate them exactly. I just am inspired by them, but I create my own. So the Denny's one is like a cat. Let's see if you guys can see that. So you can see the Denny's kind of the perfect breakfast, they call it. So that was kind of my version of that. Let me put this. I'm really nervous about this. I don't want this to get messed up. The more I handle it, the more I feel like it's going to pop out. All right, there we go. All right, so that's fun. But anyway, so I love how they each make their signature pancake. That's kind of a fun one. I like the berries and it's like a bear. That's a good one. But man, that's pretty. And the funny thing is, you look at the prices on some of these things too. Isn't that insane? All right, and then of course we've got more dinosaurs. Outback Steakhouse. I know I've got a few of these. This is one. This isn't the one here. This might have been a later one, but so, and this one reminds me, if you guys had Sonics. Sonic had they didn't have menus because it was all you order up a menu. It was all a drive up. You order. But so they didn't have menus, but they had some pretty cool kids menus, and kids like toys and the bags and everything. And I'm surprised I didn't save any of those. But they had this one artist, and he just had the kind of these simple like characters, and they ran with that look for a lot of years, and it was kind of a fun thing, and I like those little characters. And I don't know who that artist was, but they did a pretty good job branding the Sonic Kids meals and stuff. But so this is kind of funny, just kind of a simple. I like all stuff. I like more elaborate. I like simple stuff, but it's just cool to have different things. But the Joey menu. Now this is something that's kind of cool. Indangerables. I love this. I don't know if this was created by somebody else and they kind of licensed it, or if this was developed. It says copyright Indangerables LC. So, but look at these are some really cool characters, and of course they go perfectly with the Outback Steakhouse. They're kind of Australian animals for the most part, but really really cool, and it looks like they're all endangered species, which is kind of a cool idea. But yeah, that I remember this promotion quite a bit, and that's a pretty big hefty kids menu. It's like a big book, so I give it to Outback Steakhouse for that one. And let's see. Okay, and the McDonald's. Now, McDonald's had the Happy Meal, so I didn't know. They must have, I'm guessing, I don't know if there's a date on this, but this 1996, so I'm guess issue 3. So I'm guessing they were we're seeing what Burger King's Kids Club was doing, like, oh, we got to do something like this. So they've got their fun times inside great travel games. So pretty much the idea of the Burger King's Kids Club thing, but done by McDonald's. So I forgot they even did this, and you can see. I mean, these characters have changed so much. When I was a kid, Hamburglar did not look like that. He was very scary. Look, he was like the stuff of nightmares. But that's cool. So yeah, McDonald's. I mean, these fast food chains and stuff, they go back and forth as far as ripping each other off. Okay, Rainforest Cafe. Now that's kind of cool, and you can see. Looks like one of my kids drew that. Rainforest Cafe kids menu, and they do that. These are some cool characters, and I remember they had little toys of these guys and stuff like that. So obviously Rainforest Cafe is just, that's a really cool place to go to if you're a kid. All right, more Denny's. Oh, yeah. So this is kind of fragile, it's falling apart, but this is another, they did a lot of pop-out stuff, but yeah, there it is. There's that was the little drink that I mentioned before. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. I don't know if you can see that. So we had, I think some we probably got thrown out, but we had these little rocket, little rocket cups. Really cool. And then this looks just like a stencil thing. It looks like you could draw a rocket or just draw different shapes. I think you twist around. It looks, I don't know. I mean, that looks pretty cool. But then on the back, that's some cool, I love that illustration right there. So yeah, another cool entry from Denny's right here. All right. Let's see. On the Border. Is this On the Border? Border Buddies. Yeah, On the Border, which is a Mexican food restaurant chain. Wow, that is a cool full color. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love it when these places, I mean, you go to some places and then like the children's menu you get is just like so lame. And sometimes it's just a mom and pop's place. But anytime you go to one that is like a decent, like a chain or something, they have a garbage menu. It's like, come on, give the kids some reason to want to go there and keep them quiet. That's it's for everyone's benefit. Keep them occupied. But that's kind of cool. On the Border, Carrabba's Italian Grill. These places are still around. Let's see, and that's, again, we go back to some of the kind of just fun sort of just sketchy, fun characters that are really kind of simplistic and fun. This reminds me a little bit like a Schoolhouse Rock type vibe or something like that. That's pretty cool. But Bambini menu. All right. And then is this the same one as the one we saw before? Is this different? And then we've got some Mad Libs and things like that. Yeah, my kids definitely use this one. Yeah, but again, back to these endangerable things. Pretty cool. There's a parrot. That's pretty awesome. All right. Okay, this one is Ruby Tuesdays. I'm not sure if Ruby Tuesdays is still around or not. Hamburglar changed his name after his time in the Slammer. What's his name now? Let's see. All right, so Ruby Tuesday is another sort of kind of bar and grill type place. You know what? This looks like, I think this might be the same guy that did the Sonic commercial, or it's very similar, but it was kind of this style. When I talked about the Sonic stuff, it was kind of in that style. I don't know if it's the same guy or not, but very reminiscent of what I remember from Sonic. Might not be the same. Actually, it does look a little different now that I look at it. But okay, Sizzler. Sizzler is there's not a lot of Sizzlers around. I think there's some in California. We went to one in Flagstaff. I kind of dig their kind of buffet that they got going on there. But this is a Tom and Jerry kind of tie-in with, and the thing about this is it's glossy, which most children's, and that's the thing. You see how that's the biggest problem when you're live streaming is the lights bouncing off these glossy things. And when you're opening things like trading cards and things like that, that becomes a problem. Usually with the children's menu, it's not a problem because it doesn't make sense to make these glossy because how are you going to color with crayons? So, but anyway, so they decided to go kind of like a glossy thing. Like here's a coloring page. It's so hard to color with that wax on this glossy paper. So anyway, so there's that. Oh, here's another one here, Captain Planet. I actually have my kids gave me a Captain Planet toy still in the box. So I've got a Captain Planet action figure somewhere. But I definitely remember these. And I watched a lot of this stuff because at the time when I was doing my children's show, and my children's show was also kind of had an environmental theme to it. So I would look at a lot of Captain Planet, kind of see some of the stuff they were doing and everything. So again, a little hard to color Captain Planet. Good luck with that. But there's a cool little game, looks like probably, I don't know if you roll dice or flip a coin or something. But that's cool. Okay, so we got some Sizzler Kids menus. This is Mimi's Cafe. You guys got Mimi's Cafe? So they had their own little French girl and her dog with the beret. It's kind of a French bistro. Oh, this one opens up. So that's one we haven't seen in a little. We haven't seen one that kind of opens up like that. That's pretty cool. Oh, I love these find hidden mysteries and things like that. You gotta find all these different things. That will keep you occupied for a long time. But this one looks like it's got some fun games and things. We got another Captain Planet. Chili's. All right, so Chili's had their Pepper Pals. And it looks like this one's actually sponsored by Crayola, so very cool. So Chili's still around today. I don't like when they show the illustrations as much, especially when they're like this, because you got to, if you're going to show an illustration, at least make it sort of look like the food, so kids kind of know what they're getting. Because kids are picky, or maybe that's a good strategy. Maybe look at this, but what they have in their imagination probably isn't going to be. So this looks like it was cut off from a cereal box or something, but just another game or something. This with PBS Kids. So this, I'm not sure if this was something that we got. Probably didn't get this from a restaurant or whatever. See, this is the way to go. So you get your glossy cover, but the inside you've got your matte coloring pages, so you can actually color them. So we got Clifford the Big Red Dog, and then I don't know who these characters are. Is this or Corduroy? Maybe like Ruby something. I forgot their names. Caillou. I remember all this stuff from when my kids were kids. Teletubbies, Zaboomafoo. See, I remember Elmo, and then what was this one called? The Magic Dragon Tales. Okay, I remember that. Oh wow, okay, I remember that. Brings back some memories. PBS Kids. All right, so did we do the Jetsons one? I know we did. Did we do the Jetsons one? I think we had two of that, but here's another one, Jetsons. Again, a little difficult to color in that glossy paper, but here's another Mimi's Cafe menu. This one pops out. We've got another. See this, this would probably not. It would probably be fun to draw, but not fun to draw. One of those very challenging. Hopefully this artist got paid pretty well, because there's a lot of stuff going on in here. but that's kind of a fun thing. Okay, so this is. They must have sent me these when I was working on the. When I showed you earlier, I showed you the. Do I still have them sitting out? I don't know if I still do. I showed you the AAA coloring books I did. So they had some existing characters that another artist did, and so they showed me these, and I kind of redesigned them a little bit, and then I made some new characters for them and everything. But yeah, they sent me these. This is what they were doing before I did my children's or coloring books for them. Humongous. Any of you guys remember these? My kids would play these games all the time. Humongous Entertainment was a video game company. Putt Putt, Freddy Fish, and then Pajama Sam and Spy Fox, I want to say, I think. But they were really cool games, and they were just like mysteries that you would unravel. Like you click here and you go here and you try to solve these mysteries for kids, and they were just really fun and really educational. And it's got to be something that's, if this company's not around, somebody must own these properties, and hopefully they'll bring them back if they haven't already, because these were just such fun. They could totally do these. I don't know. I guess you couldn't. I don't know if you could do them on like a YouTube thing or something, but games nowadays. This is back in the CD-ROM days, so anyway, that was pretty cool. Parent page. Is this part of the same thing? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we can see some of the games, Putt Putt, Freddy Fish, but these were just super. My kids would just, have spend hours working on these games and stuff. Very cool. So hopefully somebody still owns those and can do something with it. You had no idea kids menus were so elaborate, Gary says. They can be, or they can be super simple. Did we look at the pepper? Yeah, we looked at one. I think this is the same one we looked at before. Okay, this is Applebee's. So this one's probably not my favorite as far as character designs. Maybe it's just because of the gradients. And yeah, wow, look at all those gradients. And that's one thing. So I was talking about the matte finish. When you're printing on newsprint, I don't know, the gradients don't do very well on. This might have looked a little better if this was on glossy, but so I'm not a big fan of this artist. Kind of probably going crazy. Yeah, and then look at those word balloons. Hey, yeah, yikes. I mean, you got to give room to breathe. If you're a comic book artist, just remember, give your word balloons a little room to breathe, and use a handwritten looking font. You don't have to handwrite it yourself, but don't use like a Helvetic or a Arial or anything like that. So not the best artwork for Applebee's. This has been one that I would have picked up, and I was like, oh, you could do better than this. You got to hire me. but yeah, pretty cool. But they do have pictures of the food here and stuff. So anyway, so Applebee's, that one's not my favorite. This one, let's see, Alfie. What is this from? I want to say this is Denny's. Oh no, this is a portrait studio or something. All right, here we go. Another kids club, fun and value, some kind of coupon. This is a Minute Maid package. I've got another. Some of this stuff got mixed in here probably, but I've got a whole other folder that I've kept of just different packaging and stuff, kids packaging. Because like I said, I used to do a lot of this kind of stuff. So this is so even though it's Minute Maid, it is also cross promotion with Chuck E. Cheese. So that's probably why that's in here. But I like this maze here. That's pretty cool. All right, so there we go. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Here's another Mimi's Cafe. So let's see if we get another big giant. Yeah, look at that. There's another one. Man, I really, geez, this would have took forever. Yeah, this. Like I said, I hope this artist got paid pretty decent, because that seems like it would take forever. I love it though. There's so much stuff going on here. This is one that actually would get the kid, not only because sometimes you just give them the kids and they'll take a little while, and the parent, like if you do as a parent, like, oh, here. But this one, I think would take you some time, even as an adult. So I would probably have been sitting here with my kids trying to figure this whole thing out. All right, Liberty Kids from Applebee's. So here they've kind of upped their, I think, production value a little bit. We've got a little, this is a little more higher quality, but now we're getting into history. And then I don't know if this is, what's different here. Obviously, there's 3 dishes there, but I'm not familiar if this is like a tie-in with something. But tie-in with Deke Entertainment. So this must have been a show on, probably syndicated through Deke or something. And of course we've got, that looks like Ben Franklin. So we've got different characters from history. Liberty Kids. Okay, that's one I don't remember. All right. Let's see. This is kind of a cool one. Let's see. All right. So okay. I'm going to save these for last. These look pretty cool. Okay. So now we're back again. This is an IHOP. Again, kind of going gradient crazy, but not quite as bad as the other one. And see that. So this is here's an example of how to do it the right way. So we've got handwritten letters. Not too crazy on the gradients there. Characters a little more fun. We got these pancake characters. Lots of fun games. So give it to IHOP on this one. That's kind of cool. And I guess are these? I guess I was going to say, they are. Look there's glue on the back here. So it's like a stamp. So while you're eating your food, you can also lick some glue and you can stick them on these papers. So that's kind of cool. Anytime I see something different that hasn't been done, that I haven't seen before, I got to give credit to those things. Okay, another Mimi's. Is this one we've seen before? Now these ones I'm really digging because of these. I think this is a different one. Is that a different one, or is that the same one? I remember maybe the sun appears on all of them. I don't know, but that's pretty cool. Again, wow, I love this. We must have went to Mimi's a lot. This is back when I was married. And my ex didn't really want to make dinner all the time, so we went out to eat, and it's very expensive. And that's why I make all my own meals at home, and I save a lot of money. So anyway. All right. Here's another Mimi's. All right. Oh, this is a different one. We don't have this standard, like, look and find all this different stuff. This looks like it's done with markers. I think it's illustrated with markers. Kind of a cool technique though, but I like that too. I not as much as I like the other ones they did with the word. There's a little word search thing here, or not word search, but looks like you've got a little one here. I wonder if this is an early one and it was so popular you got to make this thing bigger. I don't know. We'll see. All right, what's this one here? we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, folks. So this is a Wendy's. They kind of combined the games on the bag. So not any coloring pages because we've got this glossy, but it kind of makes, in some ways it makes sense because you've got food in here. So you want something a little more durable. And then they've got the answers on the bottom here. But yeah, cross promotion with Looney Tunes. I remember these poses you see here. I used to do some work for Looney Tunes. I used to do Warner Brothers Studio stores. They were these, if you've seen like the Disney stores, I think they still have Disney stores, but Warner Brothers had their own store too. In the malls, and they would have these elaborate displays, these giant sculpted Looney Tunes characters, like bigger than life size. And sometimes they'd be out in front of the stores, but sometimes they'd be out in a big giant area in the mall. And there was anyway, I used to work for this architectural firm in their design department, and we had that account, and we would design like these giant. One of them was a giant like pirate ship with Bugs Bunny flying off, and it was suspended from the ceiling of this mall, like a 2-story mall, just floating there with all these characters. And then there was other ones that were like there was one that was like a subway train busting out of the ground, and really cool stuff. But what I was getting at is that all these poses are straight out of a book. So they give you this book of different poses that you can use. And so we take them and we maybe change them around a little bit, like we tweak them a little, but just to keep on model, because it's a lot easier to keep on model with some of these things. But I recognize all of these poses from the book, from the book they gave us. So they just probably gave them that same book, and then they took them and designed their kids' meal, whoever the agency was that did that. That's a pretty famous pose right there. I still have that somewhere. That's probably something that I should dive into. That'd be a good live stream, is go through all those poses and things. That'd be a fun one. All right. Okay, so this is cool. So no. I thought I had some 3D glasses around here. Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, but you wouldn't be able to see it through that anyway. But this is a AMC Kids Pack, and I remember this was really cool. We go to the movies, and this is the top of a box. So there'd be a box of popcorn and maybe some like gummy bears or something like that, and a drink. And then this is probably the 3D glasses, and you pop out the 3D glasses, and then on the back you had all kinds of activities. But if you watched, I did a video where I made some 3D art. Still, some of that 3D stuff is available on my website, so that's pretty cool. And so I'm a big fan of 3D stuff, but that's something fun that you can do while you're waiting for your movie to start or whatever. I'm surprised they didn't keep this up. That's pretty cool though. All right, let's check out these. We got this last thing here, and let's see what we got. So this looks like a cross promotion with Disney's Hercules and Blockbuster. So not necessarily a restaurant, but I mean, Blockbuster, definitely a thing of the past. I think there's one left, a privately owned one or something, or at least there was. But so their promotion, these are really cool. So you've got, okay. So this is something that we're going to have to do. We're going to have to do look at, here, let me switch camera angles here so you can see that. Not only is it the background, but it kind of pops out. It's got a 3-dimensional look to it. This reminds me of like color forms kind of, but these are like little paper dolls. I don't know if they don't have different clothes or anything, but you can pop them out here and display them. So you just create a little scene here. Isn't that cool? Here's Hercules. But decent quality, paper stock and everything. You got Pegasus here. But that's pretty cool. So you've got one scene here. What other ones we got? We got Zeus, and we got another Hercules. And then we've got sort of the underworld here, I believe. That's, the underworld. So then we've got, let's see, which one is this? The Rivalries, book 4 of 4. So these are like the Titans. Maybe they're all together. So we got background here. The artwork on this is just great. And I love how it pops out and everything. Oh, you got the Hydra. That's pretty cool. And then we've got what was his name? I know he was played by Danny DeVito. You see him? Let's see. He's a satyr. What was his name? I forgot what his name was. Was it Phil? I want to say Phil. I don't know. I could be wrong. All right, so now we got Mount Olympus. Okay, so I shouldn't have showed off all the characters first, but that's pretty cool. We got Mount Olympus. Oh, that's cool how it's got the stair steps and everything. I love how they did that. And then there's another view there. But again, that's so hold on a second. Let me clean some of this stuff up here. All right. So that's probably gonna do it. We looked through a lot of different memorabilia and stuff like that. I mean, this stuff just brings back memories. I wish I had more of the stuff when I was a kid growing up. Like the Denny's menus were probably the only ones that I had as a kid. But I still, have memories because I used to watch all this, this stuff with my kids. So I'm glad that I saved some of this stuff. And then for you guys that were probably kids in the 90s, if I don't know how many of you guys are watching, I know it might be a few, but if you're kids in the 90s, then you'll probably recognize a lot of this stuff. So if you know if you know kids from the 90s, tune them onto this because that's not my biggest audience here on YouTube. But we are going to cover 90s stuff too. So because it kind of goes from I was born in the 70s, so I have a little bit of that, and then the 80s were a big decade for me, and then of course the 90s. Even though I was older, I'm a kid at heart. So, and I was working in children's entertainment at the time, so I was still consuming a lot of that stuff. That was back with the just like Animaniacs and all that kind of stuff. There was just tons of I still love cartoons. I was watching a cartoon with my girlfriend the other day. A new one was called. It was something on Disney called Kif that was pretty kind of funny. And then I watched a while back we were watching Cuphead and stuff like that. But so I don't really have any intention on growing up. So I love this stuff, and if you love this stuff too, you definitely tune in when we do these live streams. Basically, what the schedule is, we'll put out sort of an edited video. Put a lot of time and effort in those videos, and they're really cool. So if you haven't watched them, definitely watch the one where I did the Denny's children's menu masks. Awesome video. I mean, that was probably one of my favorite videos I've ever done. So check that out, and then we'll follow it up with a live stream. And the following weekend we'll talk about something that have to do with that stuff. So hopefully you guys got something out of it. I apologize. I don't know why the super chats weren't working, but I appreciate anyone that was trying to give me a super chat. So thank you for that. And then I will see you guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat. I've got some people joining now. I guess I should welcome you.
True believers and newcomers alike.
Even though we're about to close it out, but I do appreciate people popping in. And if you're coming in late, go back and watch it if you want to see us dive into some cool ephemera and children's menus and just memories from growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and what it meant to be a kid in those times, and just going out to eat or whatever. So anyway, thanks everyone. I will see you guys later. That is all.